Where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? Who's going with me?
And welcome to Conversations with Neale here on Lime Radio.
Someone once said to me, we have to set some priorities around here. I didn't know what he was talking about. Oh, I knew what priorities meant, but I didn't know what he meant when he said what he said. You see, I thought we'd already set our priorities. We knew what we wanted to do and when we wanted to do it, so what was the problem? The problem was we didn't know how we were going to do what we wanted to do. We didn't know how we were going to go about doing it. We had a vague idea, I guess, but he was right. We hadn't set our priorities. Lately, I've come to look at this question in larger terms. I've come to look at it in terms of where I'm going with my whole life. I've started talking to other people about this, and guess what I've discovered? Hardly anybody has set their life's priorities, at least not consciously. What does that mean? It means that practically everyone is walking around in a state of unconsciousness, or maybe at best they're semi-conscious. We live in a world of sleepwalkers. By that I mean most people have never sat down and consciously asked life's two major questions. In fact, many people don't even know what those questions are. I'll tell you what they are. They're very simple. They're very direct. And when you answer these questions, you'll have set the course of your life in every important way for the next 20 years. So here are the questions. Are you ready? Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? Now, some people kid themselves about priorities. They say one thing and do another. This lets them feel good about themselves, as long as they don't look at what they're actually doing. You want to know what your priorities actually are? Look at how you spend your time, your strength, and your money. These are all three versions of the same thing, the life force, the energy. In the Far East, this is called ki, or chi. It's the essence of everything, and it holds everything together. And how you direct your chi is how you direct your life. Believe it? You'd better, because that's how it is, Wiz. Now, chi comes in many forms. Time is chi. Strength is chi. Money is chi. All of this is just energy in one form or another. And the sad truth is that most people say that their highest priority is one thing, but then spend their time, strength, and money on another thing altogether. How are you spending your time today? How are you focusing your strength? How are you using your money? This is where your heart is, in case you don't know it. Or you can say it's not that, it's not that. That's just what I'm doing right now, but that's not my life priority. But it is. For where your heart is, and where your time and strength and money is, there will your treasure also be. So the truth is, you've already set your priorities. You just don't know it. Now you do. Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? You got to ask the questions in the right order. Where am I going? Who's going with me? If we turn the questions around, who's going with me? Now where am I going? We wind up picking someone as a life companion, as a life partner, who's not going where we wanted to go. often, and then we wind up spending the next 15 years trying to figure out how to get our divergent paths to look like they're going in the same place. And that can lead to lots of disharmony and lots of anger and lots of resentment. So it's very, very important when you start to feel that you're getting serious about someone to say, whoa, wait a minute, just a minute, let me lay something out here for you. This is where I'm going in my life. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is how it looks to me. This is how it is. Now, you want to go along on that journey with me? And by the way, while we're talking about it, where are you going? And this is a conversation that most people do not have. They start talking about love, and all that, and then only about 2 years into the relationship does one person turn to the other one and say, "You're going to do this for the rest of your life?" So yeah, that's what I mean by that. Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? Where am I going? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Who's going with me? If you could announce tonight what you would like your highest life priority to be, what would it be?